And
hello everybody, my name is Daniel Richardson, and I'm the WCPW review guy, and
about killing a wife, and the story, and she gets arrested and in prison, and basically the husband was trying to figure out.
Okay, thank you. That does work. I like it. Alright, and guys, this is the WCPW Pro Wrestling World Cup Mexican Qualifier. Oh my land, that's a mouthful, but oh, it was great. I'll tell you right now, just a spoiler alert on the rest of the review. This was my favorite of the three qualifying legs we've had so far. The English, the Scottish, and now the Mexican. This is the best one by far, and I just mean that in terms of everything. Like, there was not a weak spot on the card. I thought every match was really good. Even the ones that weren't, like, exciting were still good. Like, they were still just, there was still good stuff to them. So, yeah, I'm really pumped about this one, so I can't wait to jump right into it. Let's first talk about the crowd. The crowd, hot. Oh, I love it, dude. This, I don't know, man. I think it's just maybe because there's a lack of WCPW or something like that for we went like a month or so, maybe even longer without WCPW. So it was just great to have everybody back. And, dude, everybody was happy and just on fire on this one. Commentary team, we got Stryker, Bradshaw, and Bennett back. It was a great, I love this team. I love this team right here. So, yeah. That all worked out really good. And once again, I mean, they just picked right up where they left off, last time at the last event. No regrets. So, I mean, it was just, I don't know, they fit well together. Now, I know, No Regrets and the Mexican Qualifier was literally shot back-to-back, even though they, there's a week between them, but, they were shot back-to-back. So, I'm really hoping that Bennett comes back. I know he was probably just there for the weekend, but I'm really hoping that he returns to WCPW because he really does add a lot to it. So, yeah, that was perfect right there as well. If I have to get one negative out of the way right off the bat, if there's one thing, and I've griped about this in the past, but I'm going to gripe a little bit more, it's the cameraman, or more importantly, I guess, the people in the back editing it. You get a lot of shots where they'll have something perfect, but then there's a transitional scene where they're trying to get into position. And they always just drop the camera or they just do the weird shake thing. And you never see that elsewhere because usually they just cut to something else first and then that person will get in position and then they switch back over and boom, you're there. But here, throughout the night, it seems like the cameramen were just never in position. There's a spot later on that we kind of missed because, I mean, they went straight to the far out cam when Scott Wainwright goes through the chairs. And you're just kind of you didn't even get to see anything right there because the camera just wasn't there. So that was probably my only minor complaint. But once again, it wasn't enough to, take down anything because once again, this event was incredible. So we kick things off. Joe Hendry and Travis Banks, the only two from the Prestige that make an appearance tonight, show up. And of course, they're demanding title shots. Banks demanding his internet title match, or title shot, picked up a huge singles win. And, they didn't mention this, but he was the longest running, or longest lasting member of the Prestige in the Rumble last week. So, yeah. In my opinion, he probably did deserve an internet title match. I mean, for fuck's sake. Nothing against Gabriel Kidd, but Kidd didn't even win any matches, and he got himself a shot, and then eventually won. So I'm thinking to myself, yeah, Banks certainly would have a claim to having the shot to title. And then of course Hendry claims he was cheated out of his shot at the internet title. Or his one-on-one shot against Cody Rhodes for the internet title, and then he wasn't even pinned for that. And of course, the other thing I guess would you have to kind of take into account is that he did defeat Drew Galloway in the Rumble, and he was the last man eliminated. So yeah, they both made very valid points, I thought. So yeah, so they're out there cutting their promo, and then out comes Blampier, and of course Blampier tells Banks, you're not getting an internet title match. Instead, you're getting Rampage, and I was like, oh, that's going to be brutal. And then, but he did say, Hendry, you get your title match. But here's where things just kind of go weird for me. This was not a satisfying end to the segment. They invite Blampier into the ring to shake hands. And I'm thinking to myself, well, yeah, it's a setup. So I'm expecting Blampier, who is, the smarkiest of all smarks out there. He knows what's up. You guys watch his videos. You know what's going down. And yet, when he comes out there, he just walks, he's like, no funny bitches. And then he eats a freak of nature, and that's the end of the segment. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, really? Did you not see that coming? Like, did you really think, like, maybe it wasn't? It was just, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of like, really? I don't know. It would have been different, like, if he would have been like, well, I'll come in there, but first, and then, like, Rampage comes out there with him, and then, you know, they clear ring or whatever. Something like that. If he would have had, like, his own little, like, bodyguard or posse with him. But no, like, he just goes in there and is like, okay, and he eats it, and that's just like, oh, that's it. End of segment, I guess. So we're kicking things off with the Pro Wrestling World Cup qualifying first round match, and we're kicking things off with Penta L0M going up against Rey Fenix, and this match really good. You know, we've seen these guys in action prior, tag matches and other singles matches and whatnot, but I'm not gonna lie, if I'm being honest with you guys, there's only a handful of people in this tournament that I was actually looking forward to seeing. I mean, I was really wanting to see the Rey Mysterio El Patron match. I was wanting to see how Ligero did, and then I was hoping, like, you know, they were separated in the first, you know, whatever, in the first round. I was really hoping that Juventud and Rey Mysterio would meet in the semis somewhere. So those were like the things I was kind of checking off. Everything else to me was just going to be kind of filler, and I don't mean that disrespectful. I'm just saying for me personally, I was just like, I don't know, because once again, I think the Scottish was probably the weakest as far as tournament goes. Like I said, there was nothing exciting about that tournament. Really, the people who, you know, won, I'm like, good, even though Drew Galloway, apparently they just ain't filling that spot, I guess, or I don't know what's happening in that spot, but regardless, to me, it just wasn't a very satisfying tournament. And this one's just kind of felt like it's going to be the same, because I'm just like, I don't really know a lot of these people, or I do know them, but, like, you know, we just are acquainted with them briefly here. They're kind of like the part-timers of WCPW, with the exception of Ligero. So I was just kind of like, we'll have to, you know, we'll just wait and see how this goes. And I was pleasantly surprised that, like, there was not a bad match in the tournament. And I don't just mean, you know, no, I'm talking about the entire tournament. All, you know, 6 matches were solid, like, really good, with some minor flaws here and there, but like I said, overall, not enough to bitch about. Like, it is honestly really good. This match was great, dude. These guys, dude, the kicks, oh my god, dude, the hard kicks. Oh, shit, I don't know, I was getting a headache just watching them take a shot in the head. And then, of course, dude, they hit like that Mexican Destroyer where he like, comes off the rope and then hits like a Canadian Destroyer. They kind of dubbed it the Mexican Destroyer. Either way, fucking awesome. And then, of course, we eventually get the Fear Factor from Penta over Rey Fenix. Penta wins and goes on to round 2. The next Pro Wrestling World Cup first round qualifying match, it was Drago versus El Ligero. And yes, I kind of forgot that El Ligero had a win over Penta already. And so, and he is kind of the underdog here because, you know, it's just like, I don't know, when you put him up against like this worldwide scale, like everybody does have higher achievements, I guess, you know, more world recognition, and El Ligero is kind of the homegrown talent. But I was pushing for him. I was hoping, in fact, my 2 picks to go on, like I actually got everything right, all the matches right but one. I was really hoping it would come down to El Ligero and Rey Mysterio in the end, as the final 2 to represent Mexico, and it did not turn out that way. But I was hoping he would go out there, and this first match was damn good. I thought it was funny when they do the pre-match promos, and like Ligero, because I mean, I know he's from the UK, and I'm not sure what like the story is there. I don't know if he actually does have like, you know, some Mexican heritage or whatever, or if he's just flat out like, nope, I'm British and this is just my gimmick. But you do notice he never talks at all. Like, he don't even speak Spanish. And it was just funny because they do the promo. Of course, Drago is just, you know, he's talking a mile a minute, and then we cut to like Ligero, who's just sitting there like, he's literally doing a silent bob, which I thought was great. And then at the end, he just pulled out his passport, just like, you know, it was funny stuff right there. I really got a kick out of that. I will say the one thing, even though he would go on the win, he did display a little bit of his goofiness here, which I'm not a big fan of. You know, he caught Drago's leg and he's running around in circles. I'm like, you know, that works if you're fighting, you know, someone like Prince Amin, or, you know, someone a little bit lower, you know, if you're fighting like, you know, Kid Fight or something like that, or, you know, Paul Robinson, or, you know, someone like that. But I'm like, you know, Drago's like a world-renowned wrestler. Like, he would just fuck you up if you did that shit. If you're trying to make a, you know, mockery of him, no, he would mess your ass up. And yet he was running around in circles and gave it to the referee. And I'm just kind of like, I really wish Ligero would just completely get away from all this. Like, I know some people like it. I personally don't. I liked when he fought Mysterio last week, and he was serious. Like, there was no goofing around at all with this guy. And so I was hoping to see more of that. We didn't see it in this match anyways. However, still a damn good match. And I didn't realize how you know, small Ligero looked compared to Drago. Like, Drago's a big boy. Excuse me. However, a C4L later, Ligero wins. And he got a few boos out of that, and I was really shocked about that. Like, I was like, holy shit. Like, he was huge pop when he came out. Cheered throughout the match until he won, and everybody's like, we didn't want you to win. And I was like, oh shit. So yeah, Ligero got a little boo there. So up next, it is a hardcore match. It is Scott Wainwright with B. Priestley in his corner going up against Primate. I was really hoping King Ross was going to be out there. At first, I thought King, because I know Kennedy wasn't there for the tapings, so I was like, well, King Ross will definitely come out the ringside. This is more of a Scott versus Ross feud anyways. Like, Primate's just kind of the proxy here. And then when he didn't come out, I was like, well, he'll certainly interfere. Like, this is King Ross's feud. This is all because of King Ross making fun of Mr. Wainwright. So I was like, we don't get that. He never came out once, and I was really disappointed by that. Let me down, Ross. You let me down. You let your loyal subject down. This match was fucking sweet, though. I loved it. Let's get they set up that chair spot outside first. Primate, or Scott Wainwright sets him up, and then of course he eats the chairs, which was just great. And of course, I love the fact that they literally wrestled like all over the ringside area forever. I mean, and it was brutal. And then they get in the ring and they finally ring the bell, and I'm like, that's correct. That's how you do it. Matches don't start outside the ring. Matches start in the ring. I don't care what kind of a match it is. I don't care if it is a false count anywhere hardcore match or whatever. If the ring is involved, you ring the bell there first. So I really like that. It is some continuity that I do appreciate there. This match was just really good, hard-hitting, really loved it. Scott Wainwright pulls out the tacks, has trouble opening the tacks up, which I thought was great. And of course, Primate, they played it well, because Primate, when he was getting back up, B would go over there and fuck with him a little bit. That way, it didn't take the tension off of the fact that Scott Wainwright was struggling with the tacks. Pulls the tacks out, lays them out, and I love the fact, I didn't realize this, but he kind of made the point, like, Matt Striker said, like, well, those are the gold tacks. They're like, a quarter-inch longer or a half-inch longer or whatever. And I was like, that's kind of neat, because I know, like, in Japan, the different mist that they spray out, like, each of them actually does mean something different. Like the green mist, maybe just blinds you for, temporarily, but like the black mist will paralyze you or some shit. Like, I don't know if I'm correct on that, but you know what I'm saying. Each colored mist is something different. And so I thought it was kind of neat that, silver tacks or the regular tack, the gold one's a little longer. So I thought that was just kind of neat. That's something that Stryker just adds to commentary, which is why I love him, there in the booth. Anyways, tacks come out, but of course it backfires. I love the spot where they're sitting at the chairs and they're just pounding the shit out of each other. Ends up taking the tacks, pouring them in his mouth, and hits him. And I was even kind of like, oh, that's fucking dangerous. Like, I wouldn't do that. Like, I would not agree to do that, because I'm like, you could accidentally swallow that in a heartbeat. And the fact that he takes, after he gets knocked out of his mouth and he falls down, he still, like, spits a couple out, and I was like, oh, shit. Like, dude, you could have swallowed that. Would have been the end of that. That would have been uncomfortable. B. Priestley tries to jump in there. She gets slammed in the tacks, which I was like, oh my god. And then while that's happening, Scott Wainwright's on top rope. He jumps off and eats a spear from Primate going into the attack. Both of them. Primate got some in the face. 1, 2, 3. Primate wins. An awesome match. And this is kind of, I wouldn't sit there and say he's a complete face now. Primate's still just a wild beast, but he was definitely more in the face role at No Regrets and here. Once again, King Ross is on side. I want to see this. Like, I really wish they would have kept King Ross in his corner. I was born in the 80s. I watched a lot of wrestling from the 80s and early 90s, back when, like, managers was a huge deal. And I remember when WCPW first started, we did have a few more managers out there. You had Blampier, you had Kennedy, you had Susie, or I guess he's Kennedy too, but you know what I'm saying. You had two different Kennedys, and then you had Blampier, Jack the Jobber, and I was just like, I love that. Like, I love having multiple managers. And we definitely got away from that. It is mostly just Kennedy right now. But I was just like, perfect. We know maybe King Ross, that's how he's going to get involved, be more on-screen time as a manager. And so I was really happy to see that, but then once again, he didn't come out at all for any of this. So I was really I was personally disappointed by that, but because I feel like that would also lead to a whole feud between King Ross and Kennedy over Primate, and I thought that would be an awesome storyline right there too. That'd just be hilarious. it is what it is, I guess. But yeah, so but anyways, good match. Really enjoyed it. So now we're moving right back to the Pro Wrestling World Cup first round qualifying match. This was Alberto El Patron versus Rey Mysterio, and I think it should be noted that Patron had no pre-match promos. Like, everybody's cutting pre-match promos but him, so I'm assuming they probably shot him Saturday for right before No Regrets, and of course we all know Patron missed that. So didn't have a pre-match promo, which was very awkward right there, because I was just like, well, there we go. This match, however, was incredible. Like, seriously, this to me, like, just felt like a major main event match. And it has nothing to do with the fact that they're both, you know, world-renowned or famous, or, you know, both from WWE or whatever. Because once again, I never watched WWE when Patron wrestled as Del Rio, so that had no bearing on me at all. But just seeing these two guys in the ring, it was like two titans fighting. I loved it, even though one titan was, you know, shorter than me. But still, yeah, it just, I don't know, it just had an awesome big match feel. And we had a couple of the matches on this event. So, but that was the first one. And I was just like, yes, this is awesome. It's pretty standard. I mean, once again, Patron definitely, you know, trying to get the heat from the crowd. Kept having Ray locked up in the corner in Tree of Woe and just, you know, hammering on the knee, hammering on, you know, away. His double stomp doesn't make it. He eventually eats the 619 and a splash, and Mysterio advances to the semifinals, or I guess the second round. I don't want to say semifinals because even though, you know, it's part of a bigger picture, so the second round of the World Cup. Then the next match was El Hijo de Dos Caras. I know I'm just butchering it. I feel like Stu Bennett. Like, Stu Bennett was great. He's just like, I'm not going to even say this full name because I'll butcher it. I wish I had that. I wish I can say that. I try to. I attempt it. Anyways, he fought against Juventud Guerrera, and this match was it's a really good match. In all honesty, they were all good. But when I rank them, and this was one of the tough ones again, I had to rank them. And this was my number 10 match, so yeah, this is where it ranks. This is my number 10th match. So I always give you guys my top match and my bottom match, and this is the bottom one. But I think it's honestly, won't say my least favorite, because honestly, it was still a good match. It really was. You know, Juventud, you know, I noticed No Regrets, especially in the tag match, or I guess the pre-show tag match, you know, he slipped here and there, and I noticed it a couple times here, and especially in his next match. But still, yeah, I don't know. I don't think it really hindered the match at all. I think it was still good. Once again, I just felt like as far as excitement goes, this match just didn't have, like, all the other matches kind of pulled something out of me in each of them. Each of them had a different quality that I was drawn to, and this one was just kind of the one that just didn't do as much for me. But once again, I'm a big Guerrero fan. I was back in WCW days, you know, the heyday of the cruiserweight division. I was, you know, huge on Hoovy, still am, and so yeah, it was just really cool to see him in WCPW ring. And I will say, I think that Karras is getting a lot better. Karras, it doesn't matter. I think he's doing a lot better. I think the first time I saw him, I wasn't too impressed with him. I thought he was just really slow. And this time, I think he's really gotten better with each match. And this one was probably his best match too. So really good stuff. However, Juventud Guerrera wins. It looked like a Shining Wizard to me. They were just like, nope, that was just a knee strike. And I was like, Shining Wizard? No? Okay, whatever. But yeah, he hit him with a running knee in the face, and Guerrero advances on to round 2. So, out next we get Prince Amin and Gabriel Kidd, the new internet champion Gabriel Kidd, and they cut a really, well, I think before they cut the promo, we get a Prince Amin chant, which I love. I can't get enough of that. I'm still, from way back when these guys first became friends, I know it's going to happen. It's got to happen at some point, but I keep waiting for Amin to turn on Kidd. And as I'm watching this tonight, and it's a great moment, I was just like, is he going to do it tonight? Like, don't. I just know when this is going to happen, it's going to break my heart, and I'm just going to be like, no! And I'm just going to turn against Amin hardcore. Like, I will. Like, even knowing it's coming. Like, right now, Amin's cool in my book, but when it happens, I'm like, nope. Gotta turn against you. I'm waiting for the turn. I'm just waiting for the turn. I'm really hoping it never happens. I really do. If I had it my way, I'd be like, nope, we're never turning it. People are expecting it. We'll move past it. However, who knows? I thought it was pretty fun that, you know, Prince Amin's wearing a Brandy Rhodes t-shirt. You know, it just kind of continues on their little thing from last week. Even though it was the worst segment from last week, there's continuity. Now, I love continuity. So, anyways, Kidd gets on the microphone and he cuts a really good promo talking about how, you know, the fans never gave up on him, even when he was starting to give up on himself a little bit, because, you know, there was times when, you know, WCPW would just tell him, hey, we don't need you for this month. You know, I think he said August was the month that they just completely said we don't need you. And then, of course, he didn't make it to Orlando, and yeah, I mean, that's it. And so he realized, you know, he he kept thinking like, why am I doing this? But the fans kept rallying behind him. They never gave up. And of course, look where he's at now. He's the new internet champion. And I thought that was a really good promo. However, that promo was cut short by Travis Banks. Banks comes out there, attacks both men. And then he goes, inflicts more damage. However, Rampage makes the save. And of course, we kickstart the Travis Banks versus Rampage match. Excuse me, a little bit of heartburn there. Anyways, this match, another match. I don't know why, because I love both. I mean, I'm coming around both guys. I'm big Banks fan now. I love Rampage, but this was a match I just wasn't expecting much out of for some reason, and I was completely wrong. I'll admit it. I was wrong. This match was really good. Dude, Banks just looks incredible. I'll tell you right now, love or hate the group, the Prestige. I tell you right now, this was probably the best thing to happen to 3 of the 4 guys. BT Gunn, it didn't really alter him hardly at all. Like, he's still the same guy he was when he first entered WCPW. Joe Coffey, you can argue that this may, as far as win-losses go, this may not be the best thing for him. But, like, I just love his personality now. Like, I love heel Coffey. Hendry. Oh, I love Hill Hendry. I do that shushing thing is the greatest thing ever. Like, dude, he did it like 4 or 5 times in that opening promo, and I was just like, yep. I didn't get up. I was like, you can do this for another 10 minutes, and I'd be okay with that, dude. Because, dude, the crowd hated it. Each time he shushed, it got worse and worse, and it was awesome. But Travis Banks, like I said, he was doing good before he joined the Prestige. Like, he was getting better. And I think like ever since he joined the Prestige, it's just gotten, he's been phenomenal right now. Like, seriously, I can see him as, internet champion. Initially, whenever I was just like, I want to see these guys all get titles, I was like, Hendry would be champion, Coffey would be internet champion, and he would team up with with Gunn. They'd be like the tag champions. I can see him going solo. I mean, that's how good he's getting. And this match really displays that. He was actually doing really good keeping up with Rampage. However, he's just getting frustrated. Rampage starts kind of getting the upper hand. So he goes for a chair. However, Gabriel Kidd comes out, swipes the chair away from him, and of course goes downhill for Banks after that, and Rampage eventually hits him with the pile driver. 1, 2, 3. It's over. Rampage wins. Of course, this is definitely, stirring it up between Banks and Kidd. So we may see an internet title match later down the road. So, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't know how I want Kidd to lose it just yet. 'Cause, I mean, he just got it. And I feel like that's the bad thing about doing a losing streak storyline, is that once they win, you can't just have them go back to losing a bunch again, because then it just kind of undercuts the whole thing. So you kind of want Kidd to hang on to it and run a little bit with it. But at the same time, dude, Banks is climbing up, and I don't want to see him get, stunted either. So it's one of those matches that when it happens, I think regardless of who wins, it's going to turn out pretty good. And they'll put on a hell of a match because they're great. So yeah, Banks, Rampage wins it. So up next, we got Brandy Rhodes as special guest ring announcer. Even though she only did it for one person, I did think it was kind of funny that whenever she goes, the next match is scheduled for 1 fall, the crowd didn't do the 1 fall. That's the only time in the history that they didn't do 1 fall. I thought it was kind of odd. And then when she announced Cody Rhodes to the ring, she just announced him as Cody. And of course, I know why, because she's probably used to doing that in TNA. And of course, in TNA, he can't go by Cody Rhodes because, Vince and Triple H are pricks. So he's just known as Cody. But of course, once again, I think she's just used to that. Didn't realize that he's Cody Rhodes here in WCPW. But anyways, brings out Cody. And of course, we got Drew Galloway. So up next, Cody Rhodes versus Drew Galloway. Spoiler alert right now, match of the night for me. I love this match. This match was, and this was another one of those that just felt like a huge main event, epic, clash right here. Yeah, the match was just incredible. I really love the fact that, what the hell's that on there? Yeah, okay, I said that. Sorry. I got little notes to keep myself in line so I don't go off on a tear, and then, like, my handwriting's horrible, so it didn't really help anyways. And I just read the same thing I just said. Anyway, so, but this match I thought was just epic right here. Drew Galloway's last match, like, he's going to become Drew McIntyre after this. So, and once again, I mean, it just proves that he's not coming back for the for the World Cup finals in August. So, once again, I don't know if they're going to leave it vacant, which I can kind of see them doing that too, in all honesty, because like, it is a tournament. If you don't show up for your match, I always hate when they always bring substitutions in like mid-tournament. I'm like, well, fuck that guy. That guy didn't even earn his spot there. He just comes in as an alternate. So, part of me is old school enough where I'm just like, you know what, leave it blank. Like, at that point, like, leave it blank. He can forfeit the match. But then another part of me is like, well, maybe have like everybody he defeated in a match, or have like the 2 guys he defeated and then have the other guy who made it to the semifinals in the Scottish qualifier and have a triple threat. I mean, make it a little tougher for him, have to earn that spot, so that way they don't just kind of slide in. They have to actually earn it. So I don't know. They'll figure something out. I'm sure they will. WCPW is not disappointed when it comes to shit like that. So, but anyways, this match was awesome. They bust out a table. That was the weirdest looking table. Like literally, you can just tell. Like literally, they're like, we're going to do a table spot, and they're like, oh, we don't have a table, and they're like, well, we better make one. And that's what it looked like. It looked like it was just like a fucking skid. They just put some legs on and boom. So they bring the table out early on. They hammer away on each other, and then Brandy Rhodes gets on the rope, and of course she doesn't want Drew to hurt Cody. Cody goes to a beautiful disaster and kicks Brandy. Of course he didn't get all of it, so she doesn't completely go out, but she gets dazed by it. This is the second time I've seen her get involved in his match where she gets hit by him. And it's like at some point it's like, quit coming to the ring. Like seriously, every time you come to the ring, you end up eating a boot from Cody Rhodes. So, but anyways, as he's out there making sure she's okay, Galloway hits him, and they both go flying through the table. And I was like, yes. Of course, he goes out there. Of course, at this point, you got the refs out there. You got the medical staff or whatever. But he goes out there, grabs Cody, throws him back in the ring, sets him up for like an airplane spin kind of thing. However, the feet end up hitting the ref bump. They both end up hitting a double flying crossbody, and they're both down. So everybody in the ring's down. Brandy Rhodes is being walked out. I mean, just chaos. And out comes Drake, of all people. And I'm just like, wow. Of course, he does have a history of running out there in big, high-profile matches and just beating the shit out of people. And, of course, he's out there just stomping away on both Drew Galloway and Cody Rhodes. And, of course, Stu Bennett ain't going to take it anymore. And he goes in there, takes off, he removes his jacket, which I love, and puts on the elbow pad. And, of course, he takes out Drake. And it was just awesome. Loved it. Loved every minute of it. And, of course, we get back in the ring, and Galloway and Rhodes still going at it. Galloway hits the Future Shock. Rhodes kicks out. Rhodes hits the Beautiful Disaster. Or maybe I have reversed. I hit the Beautiful Disaster first. Either way, they hit each other with the finishers. They each kick out. And then, of course, Galloway goes for a sunset flip, but Rhodes just drops down. 1, 2, 3. Cody Rhodes wins, and Galloway loses his farewell match in WCPW. After the match, we get a farewell. First Rhodes is given this kind of epic goodbye speech, and then of course Galloway takes it and runs with it after that. Really cool moment. It really was. And once again, I hate that Galloway left. Like to me, he's at this point he's been my favorite WCPW champion. I think what he did for the company is really great. And I mean, he had a rising star. And once again, I don't blame him for taking the money. I mean, you can't fault him there. I mean, as much as I love WCPW and it's my favorite company, the fact that I honestly just can't stand WWE at all because it's weak as shit. The money's there. The money's there. So I mean, once again, that was it's clearly his goal, and I'm proud of him. He literally, he got knocked down to the Indies, and he worked his way up. And thing is, I mean, that's the thing. Like right now, it's great. As they mentioned this during that promo, that the wrestling scene is so great that people are, in their words, are thriving in the Indies. Cody Rhodes is not hurting from leaving WWE. Stu Bennett's not hurting from leaving WWE. So I mean, everybody's doing good right now. So I mean, it is kind of a golden age. Right now we're in the middle of a golden age, which is awesome. It really is exciting. So. Unfortunately, I tell you now, I don't think Galloway is going to go super far in WWE. I really don't. I think they're going to kind of pigeonhole him for the next 2 to 3 years in NXT. By the time he gets up to the main roster, who knows? He may have a decent run, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm hoping. I am hopeful. He has the look. He has the size, and he's a great wrestler. So there really shouldn't be no reason. But I know right now they're just literally NXT is depleted. They already got him there. He's going to go there. No, he's going to be NXT champion. He's going to be the, I don't know, what is that? Like a company title? It's not even a world title. He's just going to be basically the champion of NXT for like 3 years. And then they'll eventually begrudgingly call him up. And I mean, I really do hope he does great, on the main roster. But at that point, it's going to be like, Samoa Joe or Nakamura. Like at that point, it's like, man, you waited too long. Too long. At that age, injuries kind of build up a little bit quicker. Just ask Finn Balor. So, I mean, I don't know, but best of luck for Galloway, and thank you for the memories. Like I said, it has been an awesome run, and I really hope for the best. I really do. So then we go back now. It's the Pro Wrestling World Cup second round qualifying match, and it is El Ligero versus Penta L0M, and another one. Now this time, because Ligero had the short tights on, or the trunks last time, now he has his regular tights on, but this is definitely more heel El Ligero. He's literally nastier, meaner, not playing around in this match at all. Flipping the bird, just being underhanded, and this is the Ligero I like. This is the Ligero I do. And I honestly thought he was going to take it. I really did. I was just like, he's going to win it. May not be the most popular decision, but I was like, I want him to move on to the final four, or sorry, to the final two. I want him to be the Mexican representative in the World Cup. Starts off really heavy, you know, strikes. They're really just giving it to each other. Ligero dominates first part of the match, actually. Really, I mean, I was just like, he's got this. Like, he's got this in the bag. They end up doing the dual... I was going to say destroyer, like one of them was actually a springboard one, which I guess we'll call that the Mexican destroyer, and then the other one's on the ground, but they ended up hitting, you know, destroyers on each other, which was just awesome. Which I will say, the wrestling purist in me is just like, man, they're like the cruiserweights, or whatever you want to call them, the luchadors, are overdoing the destroyer thing, because like literally, it's not even finishing match. Like that should literally just end careers, and like literally they'll hit like 2 of them, and then they'll be like, kick out, back up, run around again. But you know, it evolves, I know. Like back in the day, a DDT would just kill people, and now today it's just like DDT on chairs, don't do shit. So, but anyway, so yeah, they're doing their shit right there. We got the dual destroyers, and then unfortunately the tide turns when Penta hits the Fear Factory on Ligero on the apron outside. Same thing he did to Travis Banks last week on No Regrets. Throws him back in the ring. Of course, he kicks out, but he hits him with another Fear Factor. 1, 2, 3. Penta L0M moves on to the World Cup final. So congratulations to Penta. And I really hated that Ligero. And of course, Ligero tried to like get all friendly, and it wasn't having it. He was just like, nope. Gave him the finger in return, and Penta walks out. What I like about Ligero is and this is what I love about most of these wrestlers in WCPW. They're not just one-dimensional. He's still El Ligero. Like, yeah, he's getting dirtier, and he is maybe getting harder edge. He still likes the fans. So he's still trying to get the fans to cheer him, but they weren't having it this time, and I like that though. Like it didn't feel forced. Like it's not like Roman Reigns trying to get the fans to cheer him and they're just booing the shit out of him. Because there he is trying to just be, I'm a baby face and the company's pushing me. With Ligero, it's like, dude, people love him, but he's trying to win matches. Like now he's trying to get rid of the goofy shit, and he's like, I'm gonna win matches. And they're booing him, but he's just like, no, don't boo me. I'm still one of you guys. I'm just, you know, I'm going. I don't know. It comes off a lot better. But yeah, so Penta goes on. So then up next, it's the final Pro Wrestling World Cup qualifying match, second round. Juventud Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio, and this match was the match I've been waiting for forever. Because I'm a big WCW Cruiserweight fan from back in the day, and these were 2 of my favorites. So to see them I didn't realize they hadn't fought each other in like years either. Like I was really shocked about that, because I have figured just them being on the indies together, they would eventually cross paths. But and once again, this to me was like another big main event filled match. Like it really was. Maybe not for everybody. And once again, I was really disappointed by the commentary team, and once again, I love the commentary team, but it was just like they had a lack of knowledge when it came to Hoovy. Like, he hits a Michinoku driver, and they're like, oh, there's a Michinoku driver. I'm like, nope, that's the Hoovy driver, come on! We all know that's the Hoovy driver. He sets him up for that, and he goes up to the top rope. Like, well, I think he's going up rope for something. I'm like, he's going for the 450 splash! That's the signal! He always did that back in the day. Maybe I'm just a hardcore Hoovy fan, I didn't realize it, but still, yeah, I was like, come on, guys, do your homework. Hoovy! The juice! But they fight. Now, once again, I will say this match, I think, as far as the in-ring action goes, it did have a few more slips and stuff. But once again, they're a lot older now. They already had one, a great match apiece. So, yeah, I mean, the ropes get slick, as they say. So, yeah, they did have a couple more kind of awkward moments, and I don't want to come out to say botches, but they definitely have a few slips and whatever. But to me, it's just the nostalgia factor in this, and then once again, the fact that they still put on a hell of a match. So I couldn't give this my bottom rank. I had to bump it up a couple spots. But still, yeah, it's just great to see Hoovy and Mysterio go at it once again. And yeah, Mysterio pulls out the win, 619 and a frog splash. So Mysterio, Penta, they are the representatives from Mexico in the World Cup Finals. So awesome. And now the main event, WCPW World Title on the line, Joe Hendry versus Martin Kirby. Kirby brings the thunder right off the bat, like literally just brings the fight to Hendry and is dominating early on. Throws him into the guardrail and he goes sprinting after him, and of course Hendry sidesteps and Kirby goes. I'm gonna quit saying eat. I know I've said that like a million times during this review. He eats a boot. He eats the guardrail. He eats the finisher. I guess I'm just hungry. Anyway, but he goes right into the guardrail. And I'll be honest with you, this is what great wrestling is. When they blur that line between, is this real or is this, and in the back of my mind, I was like, well, it can't be completely real because the match is still going on. But still yet, they pulled off, and the fact that we all love Kirby so much, but he stays down. And the commentary's getting, very concerned. Even Stu Bennett, who is the heel, was just kind of like, he's kind of concerned and everything. And they kept putting Henry back in the ring. And the whole time I'm just saying to myself, like, and I kind of figured, like, well, you got to end the match, right? And, in a match, you forfeit the title. It goes to the, the next guy. And I was like, well, maybe they do a count out, or something like that. But the fact the referee kept going back out there, I was like, oh, man. And then, of course, Hendry got fed up, goes out there and just starts beating him down. And, of course, at that point, it was academic. Like, literally, Hendry beat the shit out of Kirby. Like, it was just brutal after a certain point. And he even had a bit of a lump on his head. Like, Martin had a fucking lump right there. And, of course, dude, Hendry just kept attacking him. One of the moments that was really messed up was he had him kind of in a trio woe in his corner. And he just kept picking him up and slamming him into the mat. And I'm like, son of a bitch. And at least once, Kirby did hit head first. Like that. I know he probably posted his shoulders first, but once he actually hits his head first. I'm like, oh man, this is getting hard to watch. Hendry keeps at it. And dude, the commentary was really great because Stryker and Bradshaw are definitely more in the club of just stop the match. And Bennett was more on like, this isn't right, but it is for the title. And that makes the title that more important. Like it really does. Like, I know in the real world, yes, these titles are props, all right? In kayfabe wrestling world, though, that's what you're fighting for. And you know what? When you look at it that way, when this is the most prestigious honor you can have in the company, when you can be the WCPW champion, when you're somebody who has somehow, one way or another, missed out every single time. And once again, it's mostly been his fault. I mean, he has literally fucked up and dropped the ball every time pursuing this title. And this is the one time, in his mind, he's just like, I can't take it anymore. I'm winning this title one way or another. And dude, he just brutalizes Martin Kirby. Kirby makes a comeback here and there, but it's just when he goes to throw him into the corner and he just collapses. And once again, at this point now, I'm like, well, clearly it's a work, obviously, but it was done in such a way where you're just like, man, but you still felt bad for him. And I was more in shock than anything else watching that match, and that's something I haven't been in a long time. Like even when like early on, they did the going back to episode 1 when the security guard was pile driven and then Pachi throws up the double X sign. You're like, come on. Because you knew. But this is the one time where I'm like, man, I know Kirby's okay, but god damn, I hope this isn't just, I hope this is a mistake. I hope that, maybe, I don't know, you just hope that everything's okay. And it was the one time your heart's going out to Kirby, and dude, finally the referee just ends it. Like before he can get punted in the head, the referee just throws it out and just says, that's it. The match is over. Of course, the whole time, they're all speculating, was it a DQ? Because, Henry did throw the referee around quite a bit. And even then, I'm thinking to myself, like, man, but Kirby was outside the ring. Like, it was one of those moments where I'm like, what are they going to do exactly? Because when the match was announced, I was like, Kirby, is this going to win this somehow? Like, somehow it's going to be a DQ finish. Before the match even started, because, I mean, I'm speculating at the very beginning of the night. I was like, what's going to happen? Is it going to be like another DQ loss or whatever, and it's going to set up a match for the next iPad review or something like that? Like, I didn't know. I just knew in my mind that Kirby was going to walk away the winner. Whether he's going to get a clean victory or if it was going to be, whatever, a screw job or whatever, DQ, weird count out, whatever. Kirby's going to walk away with the title. And then here, I was honestly unsure. I was like, where are they going to go with this? Are they going to disqualify Hendry for touching the referee? And I was like, well, that's not really fair because Kirby was technically out of the ring. Are they going to just go, could it have just been a count? I didn't know what was going to happen. And then they announced it, that the winner, due to referee stoppage, is Joe Hendry. And he is your new WCPW World Champion. And I was like, and I was honestly shocked. I was like, oh my god, was not expecting that at all. WCPW, you do it again, you magnificent bastards. I love you guys. Even now, a day removed reporting on it, and I'm still in shock of how it all went down. It was great. I mean, it really was. Sucks that Kirby's, and once again, I'm going kayfabe. Kirby's reign lasted a week. Not a day. It was a week. It went from last Saturday to this Friday, so fuck you guys. You're like, well, he lost it the very next night. Nope, didn't happen. A whole week. Still yet, his very first title defense, and it ended with him getting just demolished. But it's one of those things where it's the best way it could have went. It really is. Like, I love Kirby. I'm glad to see Kirby get that honor. And now Kirby is a former WCPW World Champion. You can't take that away from him. However, I do think it was Hendry's time. Like, Hendry finally shed the last little piece of that old self, and now he is the prestigious one. And I'm sorry, he's at top right now. And honestly, I felt like he probably should have won this a little bit further ago. In fact, I figured he's going to win the Battle Royal. I really was. And if he would have won the Rumble, I would be like, yeah, it, worked out. But this made him look so much more ruthless. And he did it by himself. Gunn did not interfere. Coffee did not interfere. Banks didn't. No, just him. What can you say? Like, no, seriously, it was great, and it made me as a wrestling fan, like the kayfabe fan inside of me, the one who it's real. I hated him even more. I was like, you motherfucker! Like, seriously, how far are you willing to go to keep this title? I loved it. I cannot say that enough. And this was once again the reason I think I'm giving the Rhodes and Galloway my favorite match of the night, because I think just the in-ring action just was great. But this was a close. I mean, this was tough for me to not give this the match of the night. But it was right there. I'll tell you right now. Like, in all honesty, who knows? Maybe in a couple days I'll pop back. It probably was match of the night. It was that good though. It really was. And once again, just the story it told in the ring. And just the way it made me feel as a fan, like I'm feeling something. That's the way it should be. You shouldn't be watching wrestling on autopilot. And that's what WWE makes you do. You watch WWE, you're just like, you're going through the motions. You're watching it more out of a sense of duty. Like, this is what, like the last 2 years I was watching WWE, it wasn't because I was a fan of it. It really wasn't. I was just watching because like I always have. Like, I grew up watching it, so I was just watching because I'm like, well, it's wrestling time, I guess I'll watch it. And it wasn't until I walked away that I realized, like, wow, it was just shit. And it still is. Like, I've tried to get back into it. Like, WCPW got me back into just watching wrestling in general. And I was trying to watch other stuff. And WWE is by far just horrible. And it's just like, it's generic. You don't feel when you watch that. I felt when I watched this. And I hear it now, everybody else did too. I saw Twitter, baby. People out there are responding. People out there, it's great. This is what WCPW is all about to me. Yeah, no, just epic. Seriously, just straight up. Massive thumbs up. Can't say enough about this event. Once again, to everybody who's working there behind the scenes, in front of the cameras, whatever, you guys are doing awesome. And once again, it's funny because every time that Vince and his fucking bitches come in and raid the place, a little part of me is always like, how are they going to bounce back from this? And this time they took our champion. They took our fucking champion. I was like, how are they going to bounce back from this? And now after watching the last two events, No Regrets and the Mexican Qualifier, I was like, shit, what am I worried about? God damn, they're doing great. Like, you can't keep them down. You just can't. So right now, I just got to say, this was great. This was easily the best qualifying event we've had so far. And this is honestly, but when this is, I don't know, it's hard for me to even put this to No Regrets, because No Regrets was such a great finishing match, but I think overall, this may have been my favorite one right here. I don't know, it's, like I said, overall, big thumbs up. At this point, I'm just rambling, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. But I got to tell you right now, this was just incredible, and yeah, what an ending. What an ending to an event. So, yeah, there you guys have it. Let me know what you guys thought of the Mexican Qualifier in the comment section down below. Let me know what you thought, about the finish, about the matches in general, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it. I mean, let me know. I'm curious about what you guys think. And, yeah, that's all I got. Big news, Loaded is coming back, which I am super pumped about, June 2nd. So, yeah, mark your calendars there. I'm really hoping, I am really hoping that, that it's going to be live. I hope they get the live bugs worked out. I know they do it, because when they do live, it's not, and once again, I think No Regrets was actually pretty decent. It still had a couple bugs here and there, but not as much as they did previously. So I'm really hoping this jump to just having a regular live schedule again works out for them. I really do. So yeah, I'm pumped about that. Like I said, we're entering a new phase. And I don't want to say new era because that just sounds cheap. It's a new phase here in WCPW. So, yeah, let's go on for a ride and see where it takes us. So, that's all I got. Guys, share and subscribe if you haven't already. You show this video, please show it that thumb and love. Oh, yeah. And all my stuff's down below, my Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter. I mentioned last week about doing some kind of Instagram live feed thing, and I got some pretty good responses back for that. So, I didn't do it this past week. Once again, anything Friday, and that's going to include Loadeds too. I'm really busy Friday afternoon, so I didn't even watch the Mexican Qualifier until like 6 or 7 o'clock last night, which it actually aired at 2 o'clock. I know it's different over there in London, or the UK, but yeah, I actually had to wait until 6 o'clock to watch it. Of course, that one is already up, so I mean, I'm sure Loaded will be the same way. I'm hoping anyways that they'll put the Loadeds out afterwards, but yeah, so I won't be able to probably live broadcast through those. However, I will do it Like, 'cause I don't want to, like, after the fact either, because I'm afraid, like, if I watch it, someone's going to be like, well, you know what happened in this one? Hendry's going to win after he knocked out Kirby. I'm like, ah, fuck you. So, yeah, I stay away from social media when I'm watching it after the fact. So, but yeah, but the next time there is a live event of some sort, I'm going to watch it, and I'll broadcast it that way, and we'll just see how it goes. We'll test it out once, and of course, if it doesn't work out that great, or if I'm just honestly trying to focus too much on reading comments and watching, and then I'll probably just stop it too. But we'll see. We'll test it out. We'll see how it goes. So, guys, that's all I got. I am sorry for the long video. I try to keep these things pretty short, but I like to ramble. I can't help it. But so if you guys hung around this long, thank you so much. I'm out of here. Yeah. Till next time.